Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am Tiffany, if you didn't already know that. And first off, I want to start off by saying thank you guys so much for the immense amount of comments that you guys left for me, because now I have so many back to school video ideas, and if you guys don't know what I'm talking about at all, you guys haven't checked out my back to school supplies / giveaway video. It is still open if you guys still want to try to get in on that last week, so I will leave it over here for you guys to go ahead and check out. But today I wanted to do an advice video for all of you guys going back to school, whether you guys are freshmen in high school or college, or if you're just going into 8th grade or whatnot. This advice I think works for everyone. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get started. I have 4 topics to talk about. I did 5. 4 topics to talk about today, so let's get right on into it. So the first thing I wanted to talk about is friendships. I think whether you're a new kid in a whole different school, different state, different country, whatever, or if you're just moving up a grade, friendships is like on everyone's mind on the first day back to school. Who am I going to be friends with? Who am I going to sit with at lunch? If I'm going to make any new friends this year, whatnot. I think everyone goes through that, even when you're in college. So my number one thing with friendship, especially on the first day of school, is just say hi to everyone. And you know, one of my good friends from Japan, I actually met him on the first day of school, and we're still friends to this day. And it was really funny because basically I sat down next to him and he was texting and whatnot, and I just said hi, and we kind of just started talking, you know, like what major are you, whatnot, those like basic kind of things. And then we found out that we were both half Japanese, and we just started talking about where we lived in Japan, and we actually lived close, and we actually ended up meeting together in Japan as well, even after he left that college. So it was really insane, and it just goes to show that, you know, if you just say hi and you just sit next to someone randomly even, you can make friends. I think it's especially hard making friends when you're transitioning between new schools, or if you're just moving from like middle school to high school or high school to college. It's very hard to make friends, especially if a lot of people around you already are like in huge friend groups and whatnot. So I always recommend joining clubs, or just doing an after school activity, or joining a sports team, something like that, that already just throws you into like a school activity. That can really help just making friends with not only your class, but like people who are older than you, like the seniors or juniors. You're going to be able to make friends with those people, and they're going to be able to introduce you to other things and give you tips and advice when you do go into junior or senior year. So I always recommend joining a sports team. I was on the varsity tennis team for 4 years, actually 4.5 years, because I started in the summer before. So always make sure to go ahead and check your school website to see when tryouts are, or when club like meetings are and stuff like that, so you guys can go ahead and join. And that is a really easy and quick way to make friends. Now, the main thing about being in school is teachers and grades. Let's be honest, it's not friends or clothes or anything like that. You really want to focus on teachers and grades. So, I think from being in school for so many years and now going into my junior year of college, I kind of know like the ins and outs of how to get a good grade, and also just knowing your teachers and how to work with them. All teachers are different. Knowing your teacher is one of the most important and biggest tips I can give to you guys, because there are so many different types of teachers, but once you hit high school and college, your teachers will stop treating you like kids and start treating you like adults, which means that if you're sick and you are gone for 2 or 3 days, that it is your obligation to go to your teacher and say, hey, like I missed a few assignments, what can I do to make it up? The teachers will not come to you and say, hey, you missed these assignments and whatnot. So whenever you do transition into high school or college, just make sure to know your teacher, what kind of teacher they are. If they're a really strict teacher, just make sure to read over the pamphlet or rubric that they gave you at the beginning of the year, so you really know and kind of can feel out what kind of teacher you're going to have in the school year. And a lot of the times teachers seem to be very intimidating, especially when you're in middle school and high school. I was always super scared of my teachers for some reason. Middle school and the beginning of high school, you always think that teachers are this like scary people, like they're just monsters and they don't know anything about your life. and they don't know what you're going through and whatnot. But now that I'm in college, I kind of figured out that like teachers can be your friends. Like they are there to help you, and they're there to help you learn, and they're there obviously to teach you guys. So if you guys have any questions, if you just need some advice or anything, if you need directions on where to go to which building, whatnot, if you're new at school, they're there to help you. Like they're not out to get you, whatnot, like all this crazy stuff. And especially like in high school, like end of high school and college and stuff like that, they're there to just even talk to you about some situation that might be going wrong or whatnot. So I always recommend talking to your teachers, and if you're not comfortable doing it in class, always make sure to just try to contact them outside of class as well. So when it comes to grades, I always say that the amount of effort you put into that class is the amount of like good feedback that you're going to get out of that class. If you're not willing to learn and if you're not willing to try, you're going to get a bad grade. It's just that simple. And for those of you guys who are trying and talking to your teacher and whatnot, you will get the grade that you deserve by, you know, just working very hard. And even if you're not great at that subject, just talking to your teacher and even trying to get an outside tutor. There are student tutors at a lot of different schools, so you don't even have to pay for it, but going to the library, making sure that you're on top of that kind of stuff will make sure that you do get that good grade. So a lot of you guys in my last video asked me how I maintain a good schedule. If you guys have been watching me for a while, you guys know that I am a full-time student at university. I have work and I also have an internship, and I'm also trying to maintain somewhat of a social life. So sometimes it gets really hectic and really stressful. But I know in high school when I was on the varsity team, that pretty much took up all of my afternoons, and then sometimes on weekends we would go and we would play tournaments against other people and other schools, and then also obviously you have school and all these different kinds of things build up. And I think the main thing on keeping a schedule is to have a planner with you at all times, and also making sure that you schedule time for yourself. I feel like when you do have so many things going on, you're like, oh, I need to study for this test, I need to take notes, I need to go and practice my tennis, whatever you guys are doing. I think it's so important to schedule time for yourself, because if you don't, I swear to God, I've done this so many times, I'm talking from experience, that you will literally go insane. You will probably start crying out of nowhere, you will like go mad, like it is going to happen at one point or another. If you start building up this schedule that's like perfect in everyone's world, and they're like, oh, you're so productive and blah blah blah, and you just don't take time for yourself, that can really build up and actually can start like chipping away at yourself, and then you start doubting yourself, and it's just like a really bad cycle. I've been through it so many times. I sometimes still go through it. So I always recommend keeping a planner and always making sure that, you know, you do take at least 15 minutes in the day to just focus on yourself, whether that's reading a nice book that you like to, or watching a funny video. I really like taking baths or doing sheet masks or stuff like that. Just take a little bit of time to yourself just so that buildup doesn't go insane. So the last thing I want to touch base on was bullying in school. Now, a lot of you guys actually private messaged me talking about your experience or asking for advice and stuff like that. So I kind of wanted to wrap it up into this video, because I think it has so much to do with being the new kid or going into different schools or starting school, and especially if you're like transitioning different schools and stuff like that. It's definitely something that will come up, and I think it affects a lot of people. I think when people look at you or they like assume that you have a perfect life, it's not always the case. A lot of those people are getting bullied, and I'm talking from experience. I was bullied severely in middle school and my beginning years of high school, and then also into junior and senior year. And I don't get bullied now that I'm in university, but it's so hard when people are texting you, they're fake calling you, they're posting on your social media, and like just even physically and verbally abusing you even in school and outside of school. It sometimes feels like there is nothing you can do. It feels like it's following you everywhere just because now technology is so accessible and we always have our phones with us and whatnot. And my biggest tip to you guys is that you know, the people who do bully you and who do say things to you, at that time you might feel like that is true. That is the fact, that if they are calling you certain names, that is who you are. And I think growing up and being through that whole process of being bullied, and then that turning into believing that I am that person that they keep on telling me that I am, and then coming out the other side now, I realize that it's not true. What they say is not true, and you should not downgrade yourself because someone else is saying that, because usually a lot of the people who do bully you and who hate you and whatnot are people who are going through something that themselves are going through, and they see you as some sort of threat and are jealous or whatnot. But when it comes to bullying and you're in school and whatnot, don't let yourself be alone. Whether it's, you know, going and talking to a friend, a family member, grandparents, or like a school counselor or a teacher, whatnot. I know in that moment it could be very, very scary, but what really helped me is actually opening up to one of my teachers that I was so close to, and just talking about it, and it got resolved. And so, you know, it never hurts to go and talk to someone else. And don't just let yourself be alone when you're getting bullied. When you think that your closer friends or your family will never understand, most of the time they have gone through something of the sort, or they like are always open to help you out. If they're a good friend, they're gonna be there to help you out. So I know that kind of ended on somewhat of a sad note, but I just wanted to let you guys know that school is fun, and you know, if you like put yourself out there, you know, have as much school spirit as possible and just have fun, go to the games, go to the dances, and just find people that you really, really connect with. That can really change your high school, middle school, college experience, whatnot. So I hope this advice video worked out for you guys. As always, go ahead and make sure to hit that subscribe button to join the family. I upload every single week, and also my social media links will be down here for you guys to hit up. And if you guys haven't seen my last video, which was the giveaway, go ahead and click on this video over here. It is still open for you guys to enter. So I love you guys so much. Thank you guys so much for the support as always, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye everyone. Mwah!